again. He will not fight Lamont Rematch again. He will not fight Tefimo. He will not fight Ino. He will not fight those guys.
It's overall been something that he's not been in the ring with. I'm the total package, and honestly, sometimes I think he doubts himself.
He doesn't really love the sport of boxing. He's very good at it, but he doesn't really love it. And if you just kind of understand it from a job perspective.
Things got crazy when GervontaDavis tweeted, "IDC for boxing, y'all can have the #1 spot." This made fans confused and worried. It sounds like Davis might quit boxing, which puts the rematch with Lamont in doubt. His sudden message has people wondering if he's really done with boxing. It seems like he has lost interest in the sport. But this rematch is very important if he wants to protect the legacy he built with years of hard work. If he quits now, there will be many questions left unanswered. At the same time, Lamont made things more intense by tweeting, "Tank, is he gonna sleep this time?" showing that he's confident and ready to prove a point.
So I know y'all been seeing on Twitter that boy Lamont and Tank been going back and forth. And I ain't gonna lie, it's getting crazy, bro. Lamont talking that one stuff and Tank talking crazy. Tank said, "I don't care for boxing. Y'all can have the #1 spot." And that's why I said with Lamont going up against Tank, it's gonna bring, a different type of Tank out, because at first he said he was losing love for boxing. It wasn't exciting no more. But now that he's seen that Lamont was skillful and he had to go up against him and everything, and then he almost, could have got over low-key, and people running with that narrative that Lamont was getting over on Tank, he got to make an example out of him. And that boy Lamont Rematch said that this time Tank going to sleep, y'all. He's saying this time going to be different. Ain't going to be no draw. You going to bed. That boy Tank said that he'll really pull up on Lamont right now. That's how much he ready to go up against Lamont. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Now it's starting to look like the old Tank, where he's starting to go back and forth with his opponent and everything. And to be honest, like I said, I'm still standing on it. I think that boy Tank is literally go walk Lamont Rematch. He obviously feeling confident because he back talking and stuff now. And we seen that he been in the gym rocking out with Calvin. And then one thing I do want to say about Lamont Rematch, he keep on talking about that little moment he had where Tank took the knee. Tank said, bruh, it was because of Braid winning his. If you looking for a win or something like that, you don't even need to belong in boxing and trying to go up against somebody like Tank. It's like you're trying to find any way to say, I'm the winner. That's why I said, bro, this rematch is possibly going to be one of the biggest fights in boxing, because now they went from being like childhood, friends or whatever they was, like working in the same camp, to being rivals now. And one thing I want to say, y'all, is don't be surprised if this fight ends up like the Frank Martin fight versus Tank. Because y'all remember Frank Martin was saying what he was going to do, and he got dropped, bro. I think it's like the 6th or 7th round. I'm telling you, I can see that boy Tank actually taking Lamont out early.
The boxing world is in shock, as many people now believe GervontaDavis is scared to fight Lamont Rematch again. Fans and experts are starting to question if he really wants to take part in such an important rematch. His recent comments and sudden loss of interest in boxing have made things worse. Critics say Davis has avoided tough rematches before, like how he never fought Ryan Garcia again. Now that Lamont is getting more confident and speaking out, people are asking, is Davis ready to protect his name, or is he trying to quit before?
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not fight Lamont Rematch again. He will not fight Tefimo. He will not fight Ino. He will not fight those guys. That's just not who Tank is.
First fight against Lamont Rematch. GervontaDavis didn't perform as well as fans expected. Many started to wonder if he still had the same power and sharp skills he used to show in past fights. A big reason, according to critics, was the absence of his longtime trainer, Calvin Ford. Without Ford in his corner, Davis looked off, like he was missing a game plan. The connection between a fighter and their coach is very important, and Ford has always been a strong guide in Davis's career. Now, with Ford gone, Some believe that Davis's weaknesses are finally starting to show.
Tank Davis versus Lamont Rematch goes to a majority decision draw, with Tank retaining his WBA lightweight title. Now, I did not score this fight a draw. I had it 7-5 to Lamont Rematch. I thought he had the ring generalship and effective pressure. He was landing the jab and effective combinations. Tank, as usual, had a very low output, and he was relying on one big shot. I gave Roach the first 3 rounds, Tank the next 3 rounds, and then Roach 4 the last 6 rounds to win the fight. Not to mention, Tank did take a knee in the middle of the fight. By rule, that should have been considered a knockdown. Yes, it was to get his mouthpiece, and that's why they didn't rule it a knockdown. But anytime a fighter takes a knee, that's a knockdown. And that would have given Roach 1 more point to win the fight. Now, I'm sure they'll run it back. Lamont Rematch absolutely deserves a rematch. He just had the fight of his life. He wasn't scared to go toe-to-toe with Tank. Landing his combinations, the bigger counters, and the more effective shots. He definitely deserves a second payday. Now, in the co-main event, Gary Antoine Russell put on an amazing performance. I think he won 11 or 12 rounds against Raya Valenzuela. Great hand speed, good combinations, masterclass to win the WBA title. And then in the featured bout, Alberto Puello beat Sandor Martin to retain his WBC title. He landed the cleaner left hands, definitely won the last 2 to 3 rounds to edge the fight. But overall, good card. I do think Roach won the fight though.
Often been criticized for picking opponents who don't seem like a big threat to his unbeaten record. Many people thought he would easily beat Lamont Rematch, but Rematch surprised everyone. He was more skilled and tougher than expected. Now, there's a lot of talk that Davis might skip the rematch. Some critics believe he's trying to protect his legacy, especially after all the negative reactions to how he performed in the
a long time, but I think Tank got the talent to be an all-time great. He just don't want to have a resume for whatever reason. So I think this is going to force him to go see people.
Step up a little bit.
It showed, even his fans, it kind of took that allure off. Like, oh, this nigga not perfect. He can't just whoop anybody ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I think Lamont should have won the fight on the technicality.
Oh.
If it wasn't a knockdown, the ref wouldn't have started counting. He started counting. He only stopped because Tank told him to stop. He told that nigga, no. I'm like, nah, stop, nigga. He was like, oh, my bad.
Yeah. You take away the jabs, Tank landed more. Percentage was higher. I'm all about connection, bro. I think Tank did a better job in the fight. I gave Lamont maybe one of the early rounds. After round 6 or 7, I think Roach put in very good work and kind of matched whatever Tank was doing, or Tank matched whatever Lamont started doing. The technicality, bro, that was different.
Gervonta faced someone who really challenged him, Lamont. Roach gave one of the strongest performances anyone has ever shown against Davis. After the fight, Davis posted a strange tweet saying he didn't care about boxing anymore. This made fans and boxing insiders even more suspicious. Many now believe Davis might be avoiding a rematch because he's scared or unsure of himself. The idea that Roach's skill and growing confidence may have shaken Davis is now one of the biggest topics.
Override his decisions or knockdowns. Some skeptics have suggested that Willis's call benefited Davis unfairly, but we do not subscribe to that notion. In our long experience judging fights, we see no evidence of favoritism, only a referee prioritizing the physical safety of a fighter who appeared compromised by an eye injury, which I actually get. I understood that statement because, hey, look, Steve Willis he didn't call it a knockdown.
You take a knee like that looks like a knockdown, all right?
So I think it's going to be very difficult for the New York State Athletic Commission to review this and then call it a knockdown. Because here's the thing. The fight could have gone completely differently if Gervonta was told that it was a knockdown officially. Gervonta could have then responded differently because, let the truth be known, Gervonta didn't even know it was the 12th round when it was the 12th round. He thought it was the 8th.
Forgot where he was at. He thought he was still in the 8th round. He thought he still had rounds to go.
12th round. He said, damn, it's the 12th? Yeah, it's the 12th and you're down. Tank didn't know what round it was. So, if it was brought to his attention by Steve Willis that it was officially a knockdown, the fight could have gone differently, making it very difficult to review this after the fact and overturn it. But the problem is, still, though Steve Willis did not call it a knockdown officially, he also didn't call it a slip.
You take a knee like that looks like a knockdown.
He had to pick one or the other. And according to the rules, if it's a slip, the referee has to let it be known that it's a slip. Slips. When a boxer goes down and the referee deems it not to be a legal knockdown, they should immediately...
Of the fight. Something strange happened. GervontaDavis suddenly dropped to one knee. The referee didn't call it a knockdown, which confused many people. Later, the New York State Commission admitted that a technical issue stopped the team from properly reviewing. The moment this caused a lot of debate about how the fight was judged. The backlash against Davis was quick and harsh. One major criticism came from Davis's own explanation. He said grease got in his eyes and that's why he went down. Many fans didn't believe him, especially when comparing his reaction to other fighters, including women who have pushed through tougher situations. The live crowd even booed him, clearly unhappy with his excuse. For a fighter known for being tough, this moment hurt his reputation and has become a major mark against him.
Fight fans listening to the moment, Tank Davis says that grease got into his eye, which made him take that knee in round 9, and then listen in as the fans immediately turn on Tank and start booing him. I have one question for Tank. Tank, we have female boxers. I couldn't find any evidence of them taking a knee.
I just got my hair done 2 days ago and she put grease in my shit, so the shit was like, you know, like when you sweating and things like that and the grease come in my face, it burnt my eyes type shit. Damn, why y'all booing like I'm saying bullshit? Like, this is real facts.
With all the controversy, or maybe because of it, excitement for the rematch between GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach is bigger than ever. There are rumors the fight could happen in August, and fans are already getting ready for it. The tension and unfinished business from their first fight have made this one of the most talked about boxing events of the year. As the possible rematch gets closer, Davis seems to be using mind games. He's been posting strange messages online and saying sharp things in interviews. Some people think he's doing this on purpose to mess with Roach's focus and confidence before the fight even starts. Interview 8 lately. GervontaDavis has been saying he's tired of boxing. He's talked about taking a break and even hinted that he might retire. But at the same time, he's named 3 fighters he still wants to face before walking away. This mixed message has left fans confused. Is he really planning to end his career soon, or is he just using retirement talk as a way to gain attention or control the narrative? One thing is clear: Davis is at a turning point, and no one is sure.
Is signed and ready to go for the rematch, correct?
Y'all play so many head games, it's not even funny. Let me tell you something, bro. Lamont Roach has never been this big of a fighter before. Everyone knows Lamont Roach now. So he could be reaping the benefits of just enjoying his status of having that draw with Tank, while Tank is the one with the eye of the tiger. Tank is probably in the gym training his ass off, and then sign the contract like, all right, we got to fight when? June. Oh, shit! Let's hurry up and dash your ass. Sugar Ray Leonard did that to Roberto Duran. Duran was told that he had a fight in a couple weeks, and he was like, dude, I'm 190 pounds in Panama. Which is why Roberto Duran was out of shape in the No Mas fight and was like, no mas. So Tank could be over there working, sign the contract in 3 weeks, and all of a sudden Lamont Roach got to put a training camp.
GervontaDavis leaving boxing right now has surprised a lot of people. He's still very popular, and his talent is at its peak. So, the thought of him quitting feels sudden and hard to understand. His recent comments have created a lot of confusion. Upcoming fights are now uncertain, and both fans and promoters are trying to figure out what's really going on behind the scenes.
Davis names the only 3 opponents he wants to face before retirement, one being Lamont Roach, who he already is scheduled to fight next year. So you guys already know that he plans to leave the sport at the end of 2025, but he wants to fight Ryan Garcia again. I wonder. This is exactly why he wants to fight Ryan Garcia again. I mean, look at the abysmal numbers before he fought him, right? And then when he fought Martin, 350,000. This is where the big money is, and of course he wants to rematch Ryan Garcia. Then he says he'd fight Teofimo Lopez next. He says, yeah, I'd do Teo. I'd slap the crap out of him when I see him. Lopez is the current WBO super lightweight champion, having won the belt against Josh Taylor, which honestly very much surprised me. I thought Josh Taylor was going to win, but Teofimo Lopez showed his skills and his grit, his athleticism, and really just proved that he belonged. You know what I mean? I would say I'd prefer to see the Teofimo Lopez fight just because we saw him fight Ryan Garcia already. I know with that whole weight thing that he did to him, but honestly, I think Teofimo Lopez would be...
This isn't the first time GervontaDavis has mentioned quitting boxing. In past interviews, he's talked about retiring early, often saying he has other goals or lifestyle plans outside the ring. Lamont Rematch didn't stay quiet about it. He quickly responded, calling Davis's retirement talk a mistake. Rematch believes that any sign of doubt from Davis gives him a mental advantage. Rematch says he's staying focused and plans to use Davis's own words as fuel, turning any sign of hesitation into a weapon he can use in the...
I tip my cap to Tank Davis. Listen to what he's about to say when asked about his comments earlier, why he wants to retire after 2025. I salute you, Tank, man. This is the realest thing I've heard from a boxer in a long time. Let me know your thoughts, guys.
That's why I don't want to box no more. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble and things.